to chaos. Welcome into Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. This is an NFL and college football show here on YouTube. If you want daily NFL and college football content, news, rumors, reaction, my takes on everything going on in the football world, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We just crossed 2,500 subs. Let's get to 3,000. All right, the early slate is in the books, and quite frankly, maybe the craziest early slate than I can ever remember. Let's get to the Saints and the Cowboys before we get to a couple of other notable upsets. This game was never close. Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, Klint, Kubiak and company absolutely dropped the hammer on Dallas in Arlington. 44-19. And by the way, the Saints scored 47 points last week against Carolina, and I think we looked at that and we were like, well, yeah, the Panthers are a disaster. They got blown out again today. So maybe that's just one of those fluky games. Not a fluke. They've scored 44 or more points 2 weeks in a row, and quite frankly, they could have scored 50 plus today. They took the pedal off the metal. Wow. Derek Carr looks like a high-level player again. Alvin Kamara, 4 total touchdowns, 180 total yards. I mean, I could not be more impressed with New Orleans. And Klint Kubiak, who was briefly the OC in Minnesota, was with Denver for a year under Nate Hackett, goes to San Francisco last year under Kyle Shanahan, kind of like an internship, gets an OC gig in New Orleans. That's looking like the biggest acquisition of the offseason. This Saints offense was putrid a year ago, to the point where Saints fans were like, oh God, Derek Carr does not look good at all. He looks like a top 5 quarterback through 2 weeks. I mean, he goes 11-16 for 243 and 2 touchdowns, just super efficient, didn't even have to throw it that much. I mean, Kubiak pantsed Mike Zimmer today. What the hell was that, Mike Zimmer? I mean, Jesus. I mean, you could say, yeah, Dak threw a couple picks, whatever. I mean, they scored on their first 6 drives, I believe. 6 drives, 6 touchdowns. Or maybe it was 6 drives, 5 touchdowns, and a field goal. Whatever it was, the Cowboys had no chance. I mean, just an embarrassing performance for them. But for New Orleans, wow. I mean, they put the league on notice. Like, they are for real. I'm pretty impressed. I think they could win the NFC South and be a factor in the NFC. All right, let's get to the next game here. Raiders upset the Ravens. What a win for Antonio Pierce. What a win for Gardner Minshew and company. Big day for Devontae Adams, 9 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. They erase a 23-13 fourth quarter deficit to win 26-23. I mean, that's a bad loss for the Baltimore Ravens. It really is. I mean, that's about as bad as it gets. But Raiders defense traveled. Max Crosby was all over the place. Raiders 1-1. I think bigger picture is around Baltimore. They're 0-2 now, playing a first-place schedule. They're in trouble, man. That offensive line can't protect. They're not running the ball that efficiently with Derrick Henry. I don't know. I think Baltimore is in some trouble. I'm aware I misspelled Ravens there. My apologies. If they start winning games, I'll spell their name right. I'll get that fixed real quick right here. But what a disaster for Baltimore in this one. It really was. I mean, up 10, Vegas flying cross-country to play in this one, and you can't close the deal. That's tough. I mean, when the schedule comes out, every team has a couple of games. It's the NFL. They're all tough. But there's always a few games for every team where you're like, okay, got to win that one. Should win that one. Raiders at home is about as easy as it gets for a team of Baltimore's caliber, and they lost. Now they got to make up that loss somewhere. Not looking good. Not looking good. Another notable upset, Vikings over the 49ers, 23-17. Sam Darnold takes down his old team who he played for last year, backing up Brock Purdy, 268, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Now, Justin Jefferson left this game with a quad contusion. He said he's going to be fine, but we'll keep an eye on that. But NFC North is looking stout, man. Vikings are 2-0. The Lions lost to the Bucs, so they're 1-1, and the Packers are 1-1. We'll get to Green Bay in a minute, but the Bears have a chance to be 2-0 tonight. What a start for Minnesota to hammer the Giants last week, to beat the 49ers this week. Sam Darnold threw a 97-yard touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson, play action out of his own end zone. beautiful lofted throw over 2 defenders. I mean, you couldn't have handed it to him any better, and Jetta was off to the races. I mean, Sam Darnold's looking like he might be the next Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith. These quarterbacks that just stick around in the league, find the right fit, and get paid. I mean, what a start for him to his season. I don't think it's that big of a deal for San Francisco. Obviously you don't want to lose any games, but I think they'll be okay. They definitely missed Christian McCaffrey today. Jordan Mason wasn't nearly as effective in this one. He still ran for 100 yards, but it felt tougher than it did last week against the Jets. Give Brian Flores credit. I thought he confused Brock Purdy for a lot of this one. Purdy still threw for 300 yards, but the Vikings made some critical plays in key moments. So Vikings improved to 2-0. Niners fall to 1-1. How about Matt LaFleur? Malik Willis has been a Packer for like 2.5 weeks, and they beat the Colts 16-10 in this game. And Willis went 12 for 14 for like 125 yards and a touchdown. Clearly, they let Josh Jacobs be the focal point today. 30 carries, $150 there. But it's twofold here. One, Matt LaFleur is an incredible coach. To get this done with Malik Willis with not much practice time is pretty impressive, as Jordan Love is injured. Two, the Colts are in big trouble. They're 0-2 now. Anthony Richardson is erratic as hell. He's throwing picks left and right. That just continues to be a roller coaster. The highs are high, but the lows are low for Indianapolis. I mean, Green Bay, what a win. When you kind of had to have it. Falling to 0-2 in this division with all 4 teams being competitive would not have been ideal. Sounds like Jordan Love was close to playing today, so he might be able to play next week. So to win this game without him is pretty significant after they lost a tight one to Philly and Brazil last week. I mean, that was really impressive from Matt LaFleur. And to me, he's the most underappreciated coach in the NFL. Packers fans were calling for his job last October. I'm like, guys, you don't know how good you have it with Matt LaFleur. If he got fired, 15 teams would line up to hire him. Like, teams would fire their coach for a chance to hire this guy. So that's a hell of a win for Green Bay to get back to 1-1, a critical one as well. Other Week 2 action. I mean, what an early slate. Bucks 20, Lions 16. Jared Goff throws a couple of picks. I mean, how about the NFC South? New Orleans and Tampa look like 2 of the better teams in the NFC early in the year. Really impressive win on the road for Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield continues to be a great story, kind of revitalizing his career in Tampa. Jets 24-17, much needed win for Aaron Rodgers and the boys. He tossed a couple of touchdowns. Still looking a little choppy. Jermaine Johnson, their pass rusher, left with an Achilles injury. Can they get Hassan Reddick in the building? They're going to need a pass rusher. Like, you got to figure that out, I think, if you're the Jets, especially if Johnson's injury is serious, which it sounds like it is last time I checked. Seahawks 23-20 in overtime over New England. Imagine if the Patriots started out 2-0, but Seattle gets it done. Geno Smith, 327 and a touchdown. That game was back and forth. I mean, all these games were nip and tuck, very tight. I'll give Gerard Mayo credit. He's got New England playing hard. They had a 4th and 1 at their own 40 to start overtime, and they punted. That's a bad choice. No one thinks you're going to be a good football team. Clearly, in their eyes, they feel differently. You're an underdog. Go play to win that game. Punting that ball to Seattle, that's stupid. Again, I'm giving Mayo credit for this team playing better than I thought they would, but you got to go for that. Like, what do you have to lose? Like, once they punted that, I was like, yeah, Seattle's going to go win this game, which is exactly what happened. Drama in the NFC East between the Giants and Commanders. Graham Gano pulls his hamstring early, and the game is tied 18 apiece late in the game. And had they had a kicker, the Giants would have had about a 38-yard field goal attempt with a couple of minutes left to go. Instead, they have to go for a 4th down. Daniel Jones on a scramble drill actually makes a really nice play, hits Malik Neighbors in the hands, and the rookie dropped it. I mean, he was in shambles. He knew it. And the Commanders drove down and kicked a game-winning field goal. 7 field goals for Washington in this one to win 21-18. Want to give credit to their kicker here. Austin Seibert getting it done there. Jaden Daniels making some plays. They didn't find the end zone, but they found a way, and the heat is about to turn up on Joe Shane and Brian Dable. Because it sounded like, too, Graham Gano was questionable coming in, and Dable didn't have a great answer in the postgame. He said, yeah, I thought he'd be healthy. It's like, That's not a great look. I think things could unravel there quickly. Browns 18, Jags 13. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, come on, man. You can't outduel Deshaun Watson, who didn't even play that good. Watson, 22 completions for 186 yards. Did run in a touchdown, but I don't know. 30 total points for the Jags in 2 weeks. Both losses at home, I believe, too, to Miami and Cleveland. Browns improved to 1-1. Jags fall to 0-2. And then really the one blowout of the early slate other than Saints-Cowboys. Chargers 26, Panthers 3. Keep betting against the Panthers. You're going to make money. Like, this is only a 5-point spread. I put out a video and people were laughing at me. I don't think it'll happen, but it is on the table for Carolina to go 0-17. Bryce Young is completely lost. Dave Canales does not feel like he's ready to be a head coach. The defense sucks. They have no playmakers on offense. I mean, Justin Herbert threw for 130 yards in this game, and they won easily. Quentin Johnston, 2 touchdowns for the Chargers. That's a good development. If they can get him going after a tough rookie year, that's nice for LA. But J.K. Dobbins, $131 and a long touchdown. This is Harbaugh ball, baby. Run the football and play defense. They've done it for 2 weeks now, and they're 2-0. So what an opening slate. Couple of games going on right now in the afternoon window. Bengals and Chiefs tied at 3 after 1. Steelers 7. Broncos nothing. Justin Fields with the touchdown pass early there. And how about this one? Cardinals 21. Rams 3. Kyler Murray, 3 touchdown passes in the first half. Marvin Harrison Jr., 2 of those. 4 catches, 130 yards for the rookie receiver after a quiet debut. Yeah, I think he's going to be pretty good. Things still heating up. Those games ongoing. We got Bears-Texans tonight. What a day of football in the NFL. It doesn't get much better. Be sure you guys subscribe to the channel here. We will have more coverage tomorrow after the rest of these games conclude. My name is Harrison Graham. Football's back, baby.